Norway's Princess Martha is giving up her royal duties and privileges to focus on her alternative medicine business with fiancé Durek Verrett, but she'll keep her title.
How you doing? I'm Mark Curry, and you may know me from hanging with Mr. Cooper, from numerous stand-up comedy shows. My life is everywhere. I have no balance in my life. You know, I didn't talk about it too much, but I got burned severely. The water heater blowing up, catching on fire, in a coma for 2 days. And it basically pushed me back 3-4 years. I need guidance. I need someone to tell me, what is blocking me?
Hi, I'm Shaman Durek, and I help people facilitate old knowledge into modern day times. I started training when I was about 12 years old. I've lived in Jerusalem, I lived in Tel Aviv, Haifa, Egypt. I've studied a lot about Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism. I've studied everything about voodoo, and a lot of people, when they say voodoo, they think it's like dark, but my real voodoo comes from white light, and it's about protecting people and helping remove spirits from them and clearing their energy. So one of the things that I really wanted to focus on with you today, because one of the things that your guides were telling me a lot is that you have this dark spirit. All this dark energy attached itself to you, and its whole purpose is to try to get you off the planet.
I got some things on me that's holding me back.
Yes, it is. You cannot have the spirit have this much power over you.
Can we watch The Exorcist? The Black Exorcist.
It's good to make all the jokes, because it's good to get it out now. All right, we're gonna start off by saging you. I ask animal spirits to go into their body to start clearing the way energetically. I call Archangel Michael now to come forth, and I ask Archangel Michael to open up Mark's mouth and ask the angel to release the energy in his body. That's it, good. And I ask the jaguar spirit to go down his throat. That's it.
It's time for a change. A new plan needs a new boss. It's time for something more surprising, more British, more jaguar.
We've already created a beast. Now it's time for a new animal. With the same potent DNA, but even more ruthlessly efficient.
Unleash the cats.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right away.
Go on, my pretty ones, go on. Go on. Go forth and rule the roads! Oh yes, it is good to be bad.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, and I'm a shaman. I'm a conduit of the ancient forces of nature.
Archangel Michael, open up his mouth and let that jaguar go down. There we go. That's it. I want you to swallow the jaguar down into his abdomen. Abdomen, when you receive the jaguar spirit, I want you to expand as far as you can and reach all the way down into his spine and all the way down into his legs and into his feet.
Anticipating. Touching. Seeing. Hearing. Feeling. Gripping. Stirring. Escaping. Everything you get from a sports car. Jaguar XE.
That's it, Jaguar. Push it all the way up out of his throat. That's it. Pull it up to his throat. More, Jaguar. I want it out of his body now. You do not have power here. Shamans use rattles to make the spirits uncomfortable in the body and to make the body more empowered as well. You're fighting, aren't you? You think you've got him, don't you? You want to come out? Come on.
I don't know if I was asleep or emotional state. The shaker, what was that? I don't remember it too much.
King Harald and Queen Sonja gave an interview on Tuesday about the announcement, saying the princess had performed her duties with warmth, care and deep commitment. The princess, whose younger brother supersedes her to the throne, announced the move on television.
After a period of many questions relating to me and my fiancé's role, I have decided that at the present time I will no longer carry out official duties for the royal household. I made this decision in consultation with my parents, the King and Queen, and the immediate family, in order to create peace around the royal house.
The princess's relationship with Verrett, a Hollywood spiritual guru, has caused a stir in Norway after the 6th generation shaman suggested in his book Spirit Hacking that cancer was a choice. On his website, the controversial figure sells a medallion which he calls a spirit optimizer, which he claims helped him overcome COVID-19.
You're no doubt wondering, hey, Shatner, how do I hurl bolts of lightning? Simple. Get World of Warcraft, dog. You can be anyone you want. I'm William Shatner, and I'm a shaman. What's your game?
Hello and welcome. You're listening to One India News and I'm Pooja Sachdeva. This breathtaking picture of Goddess Kali is not anywhere from India, but it's a building of New York. Goddess Kali, the epitome of tremendous power and strength, took over on the Empire State Building in New York last night. This breathtaking artwork was displayed by filmmaker Luis Ahoyes and his team as a part of Projecting Change. It's a project which uses the Empire State Building as a canvas. It was meant to spark awareness of massive wildlife extinction and to draw attention to the alarming rate at which species are dying. It was also to make the point that Mother Nature now more than ever needs a fierce avatar to fight the dangers of pollution and extinction. The show ended with a representation of Kali, the goddess of darkness, imploring people world over to fight the darkness and to take up conservation. Cecil the lion and other hundreds of nameless endangered animals were showcased on the Empire State Building as well.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste. Namaste.
This UN climate conference is a reminder that the answer is in our hands. And the clock is ticking. We are in the fight of our lives, and we are losing. We are on a highway to climate hell with our foot still on the accelerator.
He had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. The 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 was the 3rd part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouths, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.
Okay, the New Jersey Devils mascot brings a whole new meaning to Party Crasher. New Jersey Devil recently attending a kid's birthday party where things were going smoothly until the mascot decided, guess what?
What happened?
I love it. He tossed that rainbow parachute in the air. When the parachute dropped, it triggered the New Jersey Devil to charge toward the exit, and it shattered the glass. Some kids froze, but the party apparently ended with a bang. The birthday boy's father tweeted, "No one was hurt. Everyone had a great time." But I'm still trying to figure out what the heck.
Can you see in that, though? You know what I mean? You really feel for the person. You're thinking you're coming the exit, and I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I know, windows are like the #1 enemy for birds, but not devils.
You would think so.
He makes it beeline right for that thing.
Well,
look at the kids frozen.
Exactly. That's a mom saying, freeze, everybody, freeze. Don't go near the glass. Everybody stand still. Do not move, right? Wow.
Although we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it.
Force field. It's a dome. We're at the edge of the arena.
This is the Avtaros Shaman, and it is big. Really big. Straight away, you can see it has 8 wheels, which is the same as 2 Range Rovers.
But it costs 88,000 pounds, about the same as just 1 Range Rover. So on a pound per axle basis, the Shaman is a steal. And back here, you got seating for everyone you've ever met. And there's an escape hatch in case of an emergency, like...
The Donald is here, live on Monday Night Raw. Hey, look at this! Donald Trump taking down Vince McMahon! Oh, my God! The hostile takeover of Donald Trump on Vince McMahon has happened at WrestleMania 23. I didn't think he would do it!
Marilah kita selalu ketawa untuk diri, untuk orang lain, ketawa untuk keluarga, masyarakat, dunia, dan negara. Makanya apapun yang kita cari.
Does the current president remind you of Biff Tannen in Back to the Future 2? And also, you talked about getting to know the character. When did you finally feel like you became Dr. Emmett Brown? When did you feel like you became Biff Tannen? But also, if you kind of see similarities between your Back to the Future 2 character and our current president and Donald Trump.
We only have time for one more question.
Oh, no. I'm not sure I totally got the gist of it.
I didn't understand the question to you. To mine, I can answer that clearly there can be comparisons made, but the idea that the internet meme that it was based on whatever, no, this is a performance that came out of me that wasn't based on anything. It was based on a character that was on the page that I created. So it's not, but of course,
maybe he's basing his character off you? Yeah.
Okay, kids, make it fast. I've got a plane to catch.
We've created a magazine. Mr. Trump, we give you Scabby.
The basis for the whole of Freemasonry is to be found in the temple legend concerning Hiram Abiff, or Adon Hiram, about whom I have already spoken in connection with the Rosicrucian order.
Don't need no education. We don't need no thought control.
Just because school's out for the summer sure doesn't mean the learning has to stop.
We discovered this hidden gem right here in San Francisco, Corona Heights Park. It's fantastic.
Beautiful up here, and our next adventure takes us to another hidden gem. Everything you ever wanted to know about ancient Egypt. Get ready to head to San Jose and the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum.
The Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum was founded in the early 20s. We started out a very small collection and we grew to the collection we have now. We are currently home to over 3,000 artifacts that we have on display, all of which are authentic, including 4 human mummies, lots of animal mummies, lots of artifacts from the daily lives of the Egyptians. We're actually the largest collection of authentic Egyptian pieces west of the Mississippi. And we're the only Egyptian museum that actually is housed in authentic Egyptian architecture as well. We have a huge garden. We take up essentially over an entire city block. We have the only authentic replica of an 18th century peace garden, along with lots of other statuary, including an obelisk, we have sphinxes, and some really beautiful gardens. And as you walk through the park, you're going to see a big white building. It looks very Egyptian with a row of ram sphinxes in the front. And when you come around the corner, you're going to see big gold doors, and that's the entrance to the museum. So when you walk into the museum, it might be a little dark at first. It's very, very dark for the artifacts. But once your eyes kind of adjust, you get to see, these beautiful artifacts. So our museum galleries are theme-based. They're not chronological. So it goes over main themes about the Egyptian culture. So when you come into the museum for a tour, we usually start upstairs in our Religion and Kingship gallery. We talk about Egypt as a whole, the Nile and its importance, and their ruler, the pharaoh. Then we'll move on upstairs to Gallery D, which is about pharaohs, gods, and goddesses. After that, we go to Gallery B, which is our daily life gallery, and that's a really good view of what the actual day-to-day Egyptians did. So you'll get to see things that they interacted with, like makeup, board games, and the Rosetta Stone, so a little bit about their language system. After that, we go to the Afterlife Gallery, where we get to see mummies and explain the mummification process. They remove the brain by inserting a metal rod up their nose, breaking through the ethmoid bone into the cranium. They then twirl the rod around. The grand finale of our tours is going through a replica tomb. We have an authentic replica of an ancient Egyptian tomb, and that's everybody's favorite part. This gentleman is our tomb owner himself, Khnum-Hotep. Basically, the ancient Egyptians believed that if you wrote it down, or if you drew a picture of it on the wall, it could magically become real in the afterlife. Do you all know what's in the fancy red jar? It's a specific organ. It's his heart, yes, someone said it.
It was awesome. I loved it. All those hieroglyphics and everything. Each gallery was perfect, and I was really interested.
I have an older daughter and a younger son, and I actually thought of maybe making a weekend trip up here to have them take a look at it.
My favorite part was when we got to see the decayed mummy, and it was without the wrappings and everything, and it was gross but really cool.
But my favorite part would have to be the mummies. You gotta love that, and the tomb, and just in general, just the seeing these famous names that you kind of have heard and putting it in a historic context. It was great.
It's a really great place to really get to know the Egyptians. People really enjoy the museum.
For info about the museum or events like the Junior Archaeologist Program, visit EgyptianMuseum.org.
Teacher, leave them kids alone. Hey! Teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. in the wall.
Everything to do with what is called the secret of Freemasonry and its tendency is expressed in this temple legend. We are led to a kind of genesis or theory of evolution of the human race. Let us therefore recall to mind the essentials of this temple legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Biff Tannen Museum, dedicated to Hill Valley's #1 citizen and America's greatest living folk hero, the one and only Biff Tannen. Of course, we've all heard the legend, but who is the man? Inside, you will learn how Biff Tannen became one of the richest and most powerful men in America. Learn the amazing history of the Tannen family, starting with his great-grandfather, Buford Mad Dog Tannen, fastest gun in the West. See Biff's humble beginnings and how a trip to the racetrack on his 21st birthday made him a millionaire overnight. Share in the excitement of a fabulous winning streak that earned him the nickname, the luckiest man on earth. Learn how Biff parlayed that lucky winning streak into the vast empire called Biffco. Discover how in 1979 Biff successfully lobbied to legalize gambling and turned Hill Valley's dilapidated courthouse into a beautiful casino hotel.
I just want to say one thing. God bless America.
Meet the women who shared in his passion as he searched for true love. And relive Biff's happiest moment as in 1973 he realized his lifelong romantic dream by marrying his high school sweetheart, Lorraine Baines McFly.
Third time's a charm.
No! Hey, come on! Hey, Greg, you coming with us upstairs? There you go, Sonny. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The easy way.
Hey, is Zone here yet?
For the millionth time, no. I will budge you the second he gets here. Jeez, I've never seen you so excited. You're like a little girl the morning her brother gets out of jail for beating up a cop. Or Christmas morning.
Michael Faraday!
This is like stepping back in time.
The past is prologue, Michael. Men like us have to keep looking to the future.
You know, I've been going over this Millennium Project proposal. There's some great stuff in here. I do think you should tone down the Armageddon end of days rhetoric.
No need to worry, Michael. I have some good news. I'm the Messiah.
That's a good joke. That's great. You start with that, you keep them light.
No, Michael. I'm Sirius, the chosen one, the King of Kings, the Alpha and the Omega. You're looking at him.
Look, Owen, if this is some kind of joke, let me just say, good one. I get it. That's, ha.
I'm as shocked as you are, believe me. I'm as shocked as you are, believe me. This is a big responsibility. I mean, look at this.
Things to do. Banish Satan and the forces of evil. Build the New Jerusalem. Buy milk.
Milk. I keep forgetting to pick up milk.
Oh, and you can't be serious.
Look, Michael, I know I'm supposed to be able to do this all by myself, being the Son of God and all. I know I'm supposed to be able to do this all by myself, being the Son of God and all, but I'm feeling a lot of pressure. So I was thinking, maybe you could help me.
Well, you want me to help you, banish Satan and establish God's kingdom on earth?
If you're not too busy. No,
I hear you've been out of the game for a while. Are you sure you're still as sharp as Mike says?
How long have you been dating your secretary?
About a week.
This will be the year the American people say enough is enough. This will finally be the year the American people say enough is enough. Enough is enough.
It was the American people saying enough is enough. They're fed up.
And say enough is enough.
Say enough is enough.
On September the 11th, enemies of freedom committed an act of war against our country. Americans have known wars, but for the past 136 years, they have been wars on foreign soil, except for one Sunday in 1941. Americans have known the casualties of war, but not at the center of a great city on a peaceful morning. Americans have known surprise attacks, but never before on thousands of civilians. All of this was brought upon us in a single day, and night fell on a different world, a world where freedom itself is under attack. Americans have many questions tonight. Americans are asking, who attacked our country? The evidence we have gathered all points to a collection of loosely affiliated terrorist organizations known as Al-Qaeda. They are some of the murderers indicted for bombing American embassies in Tanzania and Kenya and responsible for bombing the USS Cole.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Climate change. It's real, it's serious, and it's up to us to solve it.
That so many of us are here today is a recognition that the threat from climate change is serious, it is urgent, and it is growing.
It all sounds very green. The Environment Secretary Ed Davey has been urging other countries to get serious about tackling climate change.
Dear next president, climate change is the most serious problem facing humankind.
We are here all together because we know that the world needs to fight climate change with much, much greater seriousness.
Madam Vice President, you're in charge of the environment for the Iranian government. That's your portfolio. How serious is your government when it comes to tackling climate change, taking serious measures?
Yes, our government is very serious because we adopted a low-carbon economy last year in the government, and we started working in that direction.
Earth's climate is now changing faster than at any point in the history of modern civilization, primarily as a result of human activities, and the climate change could kill thousands of Americans and cost the U.S. economy hundreds of billions of dollars. Pretty serious. And you seriously may have missed it because even though the report was supposed to come out in December, the Trump administration released it Friday.
Well, my message to President Trump would be very simple, that the rest of the world is very serious about climate change. So are the scientists. The vast majority of scientists are also very serious about climate change. President Macron of France are calling us in a very urgent way to take climate change seriously because the consequences are unthinkable.
I'm here today to say that climate change constitutes a serious threat to global security.
We hear it so much that it feels like a buzzword, but it is far from it. Climate change is a real and serious issue. But isn't the climate always changing?
America's on the verge of technological breakthroughs that will enable us to live our lives less dependent on oil. And these technologies will help us be better stewards of the environment. And they will help us to confront the serious challenge of global climate change.
Around the world, it was the warmest ever recorded. And the fact that the climate is changing has very serious implications for the way we live now.
Well, scientists say climate change is getting worse, and there could be serious consequences for our planet in the next 20 years.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says it's time to get serious about keeping ambitions high on climate action and on building resilience.
With science forecasting a dramatic rise in both the frequency and severity of disasters, it's time to get serious about keeping ambitions high on climate action and on building resilience and reducing disaster risk.
This unanimity on climate change, that it's a serious threat in need of a serious response, stands in stark contrast to President Trump's position.
It's really cold out, and right on cue, Twitter has been overrun with climate deniers cracking tired jokes about global warming. But beyond social media jabs lies a serious and ongoing discussion about how scientists connect extreme weather to underlying climate change.
As I said in a press conference yesterday, we have seen unprecedented mobilization of the world community. People are taking it seriously, and we have a chance actually to solve this problem if we act forcefully and quickly.
And you have made it a serious part of your agenda. And you did say in the State of the Union that no challenge poses a greater threat to future generations than climate change.
David Miller joins me here in Toronto. He is an ambassador for inclusive climate action at C40. What's your reaction to the numbers in this report that we're actually double the global rate?
Well, it's grim, it's serious. If you've been involved with this issue for a long time, as I have, it's sadly not a surprise.
Al Gore is here with us in Studio 57, and we're very pleased to have him. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So tell me, in 10 years, what has changed that alarms you?
Well, there have been two big changes, Charlie, in the last decade. Number one, the climate-related extreme weather events have become way more serious, way more common. Superstorm Sandy here flooded the War Memorial 9/11 site, for example.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God. About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you gotta come in. You gotta come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No, he says there's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Okay, so if we scientists are so good at making these dire long-term predictions about the climate, how come we're so lousy about predicting the weather? Besides, this year, we had a colder winter in my town. For all the scientists know, we could be in for global cooling. Here's the difference between weather and climate. Weather is what the atmosphere does in the short term, hour to hour, day to day. Weather is chaotic, which means that even a microscopic disturbance can lead to large-scale changes. Climate is the long-term average of the weather over a number of years. It's shaped by global forces that alter the energy balance in the atmosphere, such as changes in the sun, tilt of the Earth's axis, the amount of sunlight the Earth reflects back to space, and the concentration of greenhouse gases in the air. A change in any of them affects the climate in ways that are broadly predictable. My friend's meandering represents the short-term fluctuations. That's weather. It's almost impossible to predict what will attract his interest next, but not hard to know what the range of his meandering will be, because I'm holding him on a leash. We can't observe climate directly. All we see is the weather. The average weather over the course of years reveals a pattern. I represent that long-term trend, which is climate. Keep your eye on the man, not the dog. Weather is hard to predict, like my friend here, but climate is predictable. Climate has changed many times in the long history of the Earth, but always in response to a global force. The strongest force driving climate change right now is the increasing CO2.
Houston, filters in place.
Roger,
Suit circuit relief to close. CO2 canister, select to secondary. All right.
I can hear air moving.
Just breathe normal, fellas.
Aquarius, please advise on CO2 status.
Yeah, Houston, we're taking a look at those numbers right now.
We're still holding close to 15, Houston. Roger that, standing by.
Houston, the CO2 level has dropped to 9, and it is still falling.
Yes. Good job. That is good to hear, Aquarius. And you, sir, are a steely-eyed missile man.
You like this, don't you? Yes, you do. Yeah.
All right. That's about all, kiddo. There you go. There you are. You just stay right there, Rags, all right?
Poor Rags. The dog.
It's alive. It's a miracle.
I'm the Messiah. I'm Sirius, the chosen one, the King of Kings, the Alpha and the Omega. You're looking at him.
I am the chosen one.
Mr. Fox, Matthew McConaughey recently said that all celebrities should come and unite around President Trump. Do you think that'll ever happen?
I don't talk politics.
Yeah. I mean, do you think celebrities will...
I talk specific issues. The ACA. But I don't talk politics. This way, Biff became president. That's all I'll say politically.
And Johnny decides to fight.
I feel like that.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? I want to clarify, I'm not an actor. I lie for a living.
Just like Donald.
However, it's been a while. And maybe it's time.
Mr. President, what's your message for Brittany Griner? What is your next move now that Brittany Griner wants her appeal, Mr. President?
We're in constant contact with Russian authorities to get Brittany and others out. And so far, we've not been meeting with much positive response. But we're not stopping.
Would you
the dirty bomb allegations from Russia as it relates to Ukraine, do you believe that this is the beginning of a false flag operation? Is Russia preparing to deploy a dirty bomb itself or a nuclear weapon?
I spent a lot of time today talking about that. Let me just say, Russia would be making an incredibly serious mistake if we're to use a tactical nuclear weapon. I'm not guaranteeing you that it's a false flag operation yet. We don't know. But it would be a serious, serious mistake.
You serious?
Morning, dear.
Hey, Nance, what a terrible dream. I am parched. That's better. I could use another one of those. That's one heck of a nurse.
Do you not think an angel rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm? This work continues. The story goes on. And an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm. God bless you all. And God bless America.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Key. Yes, key. Sound it out. Get ready. Key. Sound it out. Get ready. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Steal. Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kick. Yes, kick. Get ready. Steal. Yes, steal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 150.
You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
We can see so